Hey, yo, coming back at you. Episode
The
31 of the Who Effing Knows
the
podcast.
Jarius Bird edition.
Oh, the Greg Maddox edition. We're, we don't have to do Saints and Pels players every time, especially when there's
Yeah,
not.
no, I wanted to throw that out there just as like a pod killer.
Oh, the Pearson
One
Pre.
of the greatest, worst signings in the Saints history.
Oh, hey, Ethan's here.
Oh, yeah, by the way, uh, good call out. I thought of doing that and you threw me off with Jerry's Bird. The face behind the name, the man behind the Twitter. And
Technically, the name is behind his face right now, but
all right, listen,
you
you're
get it.
ruining the intro. Give the
All
man
right,
flowers.
listen. I took a week off. I got to come in here and just ruin everything.
Ethen, yeah, Dave's
He's
back too.
got to prove that Rel will take the job from him.
Ethen is joining us tonight. First time we've had a three-man pod. It's gonna run smooth as shit. I have no doubt. But yeah, Ethan's here. Say hello, Ethen.
What's up, everybody? Ethan from the Know. Thanks for having me.
That's
Hi,
him.
Ethan.
Yeah. Hi, Ethan. Always the awkward introduction. You know what I do in these things? I just pretend I'm talking to a crowd of people. Like,
I thought about doing it like the Alcoholics Anonymous. Be like, "Hello, my name is Ethan, and I have a
you
Twitter
definitely told
problem."
us you definitely told us you were going to get coffee, not bourbon, specifically not bourbon. And then you came back
Because it's
with
not as
bourbon.
healthy. Yeah.
I
Is it
changed
coffee and bourbon?
I
Maybe
changed my
just mix
mind.
it up.
It's literally just bourbon and like one singular cherry. Shout out maraschino cherries. Um,
Delicious.
oh, phenomenal. All right. Episode 31, Greg Maddox edition, or Jarris Bird edition, whatever you want to say. The official podcast of fat fucks everywhere that are trying to get healthy because we got a thing going right now. Let's talk about that. We got a thing going right now. What is it? What are we calling it, Ethan? You named it.
We do. Hang on, let me pull up the graphic. I was waiting for approval from our partner, Jacob's Audible, and then I realized that I never sent him the text, so that's actually my bad. Um, but
We run a
yeah,
smooth
so we're
operation
doing,
around here.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Post Marty March, right? So the after Mardi Gras, we all eat too much king cake. We drink too much beer on the parade routes. So we're gonna start something. We're doing it like internally this year. I'll probably still post the graphic like halfway through, but in future, we'd love to include other people, of course. And just kind of a step challenge, weight loss challenge, whatever you want to call it, whatever motivates you to just get out and do something to move. Um, I think we can all move more than we do, especially with the way jobs have been post COVID. A lot of it's sitting down and waiting for something to happen. So this year we're doing a $50 cash prize for the winner, and then we're going to do a $100 donation to Jacob's Audible. So hopefully in the future we can raise those numbers both and give some money away and give some money to a good cause. And if you don't know, Jacob's Audible is just that. It's an audible for my family member's son, Jacob. He was diagnosed with autism, and so he just decided to call it that because they love sports, they love football, they love the Saints, and sometimes when you get up to the line and you think something's going to work, it doesn't. So you got to call the audible. And so that's what they're doing for Jacob.
I love that. That's the best explanation. I tried to explain it one night. We were just randomly talking about partners, and I just butchered the heck out of it. So that was phenomenal. Good call out for the challenge itself. How are we doing? Have you been like tracking your? I'm gonna be honest. I'm not tracking my weight at all. Like I don't even know.
I just get I'm already like in the habit because mine's like coinciding with my work's weight loss challenge they do, and you get I don't like $100 or something like that. Um, so I'm just like in the habit of getting on the scale every morning because it's in my bathroom. So, like literally, first thing I do when I wake up is weigh myself. But I don't know. I don't really. I get on there, but I don't really pay too much attention to it because I feel like that. I learned last year when I was doing this that just like scale watching like kills all of like the momentum because like you feel like you had like a hard workout the day before, you ate well, and you're expecting to get on there and like be 2 or 3 pounds down, and it's like, nope, somehow gained weight.
Yeah, that's why I asked because I am not personally. I know the challenge is to like lose weight. I'm all for just like the good cause here, and like I don't really care who wins as long as some of the money's going to charity. I'm just using this as an excuse to make my ass go to the gym 4 days a week and actually work out because I've been taking it way too easy, even when I go to the gym. So it's been helpful. What about you, Ethan?
I weighed myself March 1st just to kind of like give myself like a what's the word I'm looking for, like a control. But I haven't weighed myself since then. Kind of the same logic that Dave was talking about. I don't like seeing because weight fluctuates so much, and I mean like I've been home these past couple of days, so admittedly I ate like shit, but I just like I'm home, so I'm trying to enjoy it while I'm here. So I feel like weighing myself every day would be like negative, but like I said, maybe in the future we kind of treat it as like a step challenge instead. Just because I feel like when you start talking about weight, there's a lot of
Yeah, that's true.
variables. Somebody could have like a bad week during the challenge, but they're still trying to walk, they're still trying to be active. But like I said, this year it's just kind of internal. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll flip a coin. I feel like if I win, it just, I'll do 150 bucks to Jacob's Auto. Well, I don't know, but I'm not going to pay myself 50 bucks. So we'll see.
that's fair. How about we just all pool money and we all put something? We'll talk offline, but we can figure that
Yeah,
out.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the idea in the future for this challenge too, is just to, even if it's $5, tell people, hey, if you want to participate, send the $5 to, this account. We'll hold the money until the end. One person will get the winning, and then the rest of the money will go to charity. But right now, we're just kind of fronting the cost, and of course, in the
Right.
future, throw some money on top of whatever we raise as well. So
Well, speaking of charity and good causes, this was not a topic I had written down, but it seems like a natural transition. Larry Nance tonight coming through with like the honestly, in my opinion, outside of like the Drew Holiday donations he's done and things of that sort, one of the most out of the blue, um, just warming messages I've ever seen from a player to fans. Extending tickets to I forget how many it was, but like
mhm.
200 vets or something like that, 100 vets, with food vouchers attached. Like, I mean, that's phenomenal. Like, how for you guys, like, how does that solidify Larry if he wasn't already solidified as just like one of the fan favorites for the foreseeable future?
Well, he already does the thing with his jersey, right? So like it's just more on top. I mean, we're good about like forget about like all the on court stuff with the Pels right now. Like you just got a bunch of good dudes on the team, man, and it just like Griff preached that since the day he got here that they just wanted like good dudes, and you got that with Larry, and he had it with Josh, and like all of them dudes. So it's cool to see people buying in like that, and I don't know, it's just kind of makes like the season feel a little better to know like all right, at least we got guys that like want to be here or helping the community and doing things that like you said we had Drew in the past, and I'm even AD, he would do things, but all those teams it didn't feel like this. Like it feels like this team is all about like the fans and helping people, so it's cool.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I didn't know. I just wanted to bring it up. I thought it was a really cool thing. Caught me off guard because I didn't catch the end of the spaces. Which shout out to the spaces because if it weren't for them, none of this would have happened. Larry, first and foremost, for going on the spaces, talking to fans directly, answering questions. Talk about one of the most like just open and honest, transparent dudes. Like happy to answer whatever question was asked. Now, granted, you can tell he had some media training and he purposely pushed some of them away. But it was still really cool. It's not something that you see really ever where a player is going to get up in front of a bunch of fans and just answer whatever awkward questions asked. You never know what you're going to get in a space. So it's really, really exciting to see. And it's just cool to have a guy like that on the team, like you said, but amongst a bunch of other guys too, that just seem like are really, really good character guys. So I don't know, just shout out. That's all I got to say. Um,
Yeah, I like the fact that he included Rocky too, since it was kind of her push. That's I think that's phenomenal of him to include her because you don't have to do that, right? You can just use your platform to do it, but he's using this platform to do it with somebody who came up with the idea. I mean, she's not the first person to ever say, "Hey, give stuff to veterans and active duty," but for him to be like, "Wow, that's thoughtful of you. Let me also include you in this process," I think just shows more of his character and the type of person he is. Because again, he could have just published that and nobody ever would have known that Rocky's the one who kind of pushed it to him. So that was pretty dope of him.
yeah,
Shouts out.
Yeah, giving credit. That's
Yeah.
also a good point. All right. I just wanted to shout that out. Felt like a good transition. But there's one thing I did want to talk about before we even jumped in, especially with Ethen joining us tonight. One thing we've never talked about on the pod really, is just kind of how this all came to be. You know, Ethen, we said, is the face behind the Kneaux. But the three of us kind of came together randomly, and we've never explained the history there. So, Ethen, if you want to take the lead, or if not, we can all jump in and just throw things off each other. It doesn't really matter. But tell me how the Kneaux started before we even came, and then we can kind of go through there if you can in a succinct manner.
Yeah, no, our silent partner, as we call him, he always encouraged me to like put my thoughts out there because he felt that, a lot of people say things on a lot of different platforms, and it's just about forming an idea behind what you're trying to say. And a lot of things that I've told him over the years, like he'll tell you, and he'll be the first to tell you that I was on Jose in the preseason. I was like, this dude is legit. Like the way he plays is exactly that type of like bench player. And I feel bad for Jose sometimes because it's always like he has to bring the energy. He has to bring like it sucks for him because there's so much on him to do. But I saw him in the preseason, I saw him in the limited minutes, and I was just like, man, like this guy, yeah, Jose, yeah, he's the guy, he's the one. And there's like things over the seasons that I was telling, the silent partner, try not to say his name, but
He who shall not be
um,
named.
right, exactly. He just kept pushing me and kept pushing me, and I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna go to this like www.theknowblogspot.com and just start putting these ideas on paper and sharing them with people that have basketball knowledge that I'm around and just see what they think. Um, and then I started, the Twitter, and from there it was just like, oh, like, I think there's a place for this. There's not a lot of like written media anymore. It's a lot of, which obviously we're on a podcast now, but there's a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of video and audio stuff going, and I think there's still a place for like written digital media, and even I think some physical media as well. But that was why I kind of started it. But then I was like, you know what, like I think the branding is phenomenal. Obviously, I came up with it, so I think it's phenomenal. But it matches the city. It matches, you know, the brand, and it just feels like there was something more there, and that's why I was just like, you know what, like I'm gonna start building off of this. And that's when you two were honestly the first two that I kind of reached out to at the suggestion of our silent partner. I think Dave, mutual friends slash family, was the lineage that there, and then Patty, you were in the Pels 12 group for the North Shore, and it was just kind of like being active and being involved on the scene is what you know drew me to you guys to be like, you know what, like let's see what they're up to, let's see what they have. And then when I talked to you guys, it was just about the passion, and I think passion into profession is the long term goal. So it's kind of how it started, and it's kind of where we're at now.
Oh yeah, the true story of three strangers picked to work for a online sports magazine.
I literally
Right.
tweeted. I literally tweeted, somebody let me write about baseball. And within like 20 minutes, he messaged me.
Yeah,
And then I may or may not have wrote an article driving across the causeway and sent it to him.
I literally did that yesterday or 2 days
Allegedly.
ago.
Allegedly, Patty.
Yeah, never happened. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Um, no, I say kind of the same thing as Dave. I think in that group I was active, and I think one night I was just drunk, and I was like, man, I had a podcast. I've been thinking of starting a website, almost like doing the same thing as what you did, Ethen. But I was like, I just don't want to do it by myself. Like it feels like such an uphill battle. I had flirted with the idea of joining some other places. I had talked to some other places, and I just never committed because I was thinking I wanted to do my own thing. But then when I started talking to you, Ethen, it felt right, Um, and then yeah, I sent out that message in I think it was the Covington or the North Shore Pels group, drunk off my ass. And then the next day you were like, hey man, you still want to do that? And I was like, yeah, yes, I do actually.
Yeah. And then this podcast was birthed after our drunken night out in at Chimes in downtown.
There you go. Tap room shout out. Um,
Shout out Chimes. You're not a
I'm just
sponsor,
getting a
but you
lot of
should
free
be.
advertisement from us.
Right. We
we
got a
talk about
partners page, you know.
we talk about our favorite places all the time. I think I've shouted out like Banh Mi Boys and Blue Oak like probably 100 times on this damn podcast already. Like, sponsor us. Don't sponsor us. Just partner with us. Let me show up and say hello to me and be nice to me. That's all I want. Maybe give me a hat. Um, all right.
I
We
love
said
hats.
I've got a couple or one topic that I really could dive into, but I know we talked a little bit before, and both of you mentioned you might have something to talk about. So what we got? Let's go off the rails here. This is who effing knows. You know how this goes.
Coach you or Ethan? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I just
But
want to
go
say
with it.
that who effing knows, this is how it goes. Kind of rhymes, so I don't know if you guys want to use that as a slogan eventually, but
This
I
is how
like
it
it.
goes.
Yeah. So I'm a little concerned about the Saints' future, and it's I have faith in Derek Carr as an upgrade. My question is still, how much of an upgrade is he going to be? I'm also kind of concerned about being the Oakland Raiders part two. We have Dennis Allen, we have Derek Carr. Um, so that's another concern of mine. But I love seeing people support, right? But I also believe in being a realist. I think it was right before the 7-9 first 7-9 season that Bobby Abear, I was listening to him, and he said, "This team looks great on paper. I looked at all these names and written on paper, they look really good." He said, "But you know what the bad thing about paper is? You can take that paper and you can crumple it up and throw it away." So that's all it is right now. It's paper. And I want to like ask you guys how much faith it feels like. Oh my God, Jameis Winston. Oh my God, Jarvis Landry. Oh my God, Michael Thomas. Oh my God, Alvin. Like it feels like a repeat of where we're getting really excited for the unknown, right? Michael Thomas hadn't played with Jameis Winston very much. Jameis Winston was coming off of an injury. I think the only bright side is Derek Carr's healthy, right? That's probably he's not suffered from injuries and ailments over his career. But what do you guys think about that? Do you think it's too soon? I know Patty's article related, um, but yeah, I think that's my concern right now with the Saints is we're not even out of March.
Yeah.
Preseason starts when? We got a long way to go. I mean, long way to go. So that's my biggest concern with the Saints fandom right now. I'm a huge fan. I want them to succeed, but I almost feel like people need to taper their expectations. You got a brand new quarterback in a system that I don't even know who plays in this system that we have. Hopefully that changes. But hopefully Derek Carr has some ideas of his own because I think the offense needs a little bit of a jolt, and some. We saw a couple of trick plays towards the end of the season that we were all wondering, where's this creativity been throughout the season? But yeah, I think I'm just a little concerned about the Saints going forward in that regard. Is like, what happens now? It's only
I,
March.
no, absolutely. And I guess there's a flurry of thoughts that went through my head, and I want to answer every single thing you said, but I can't all at once. So, as far as expectations go, last year, to be completely honest, I think Dave and I it was like our first couple podcasts. We were excited. We were like, yeah, we're just missing this one thing, basically. Like we're Super Bowl bound. We're thinking, we have an opportunity. Um, Clearly we were wrong. I think all along in that I was hoping that Jameis was going to be the Jameis he at least was in Tampa. And I may get killed for this, but he was not that guy. He was not that guy with Peyton. He was not that guy last year. Granted, he was hurt, whatever. Um, he didn't seem to fit. That's how I feel about that looking back. This year, my expectations aren't there yet. And it's not because of Derek Carr. If I look at a guy like Derek Carr, I think he is a massive upgrade for all the reasons I listed in the article. Like I think that first of all, he's going to make corrections at the line, which other guys didn't do. I think that he's had very solid years. Is he like the end all be all best quarterback in the NFL? No, he's not. Is he serviceable? That's probably not the best word because it's kind of a dirty word, but yes, he absolutely is. And it's also interesting because it's like my friends and I were talking about this last night. If you look at the quarterbacks in the NFC, you could run realistically. Now you're going to say Jalen Hurts, but you could run 1 through 11. You could put all the names in a hat and you could just pick them out and just list them and say, okay, this is your top 11 quarterbacks in the NFC. Like, who knows, right? Like, it's wide open. I am excited, looking at a few things of his. Something came across the timeline today that I just looked up again. Derek Carr has 3 seasons with 4,000 pass yards and 10 or fewer interceptions. The only quarterbacks in the NFL history who've done that are Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. That's it. That's the list. Not even Drew Brees. So, I mean, it's exciting to think of in that aspect. It seems like Derek Carr wants to be here. I do like that there's a little bit of that history between he and Dennis Allen, even if it's bad history. At least there's some camaraderie, some continuity. Can we put that on the screen as I say that? Some continuity there, even if it's rough.
Continuity.
Right, like the SpongeBob. Yeah, and then one other thing that sticks out to me, and maybe this is so far off base, I question, and I think I did see this on Twitter too. Is Derek Carr the type of quarterback that wide receivers actually want to come play with? Because if you look at the history, it looks like maybe, they were able to get Antonio Brown. I know what you're going to say, Dave. I know what you're going to say, but they still got him. They still talked. Or I think I know.
No, I was gonna say like him and Devontae go back to college,
Yeah.
so that's kind of a thing. But apparently Mike wanted him to come here.
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
they said, like I don't know, maybe it's just like he's for what he is. He's got a proven track record of somewhat success. It's not like it's not the great, like you said, it's not the greatest, but he can play. And I think that's all a receiver wants to see is like, all right, this dude is not a bum. Like he can get me the ball. And that's what I need. And it's just there's a little bit of excitement there, is all it is.
He's mobile. He's not going to get stuck in the pocket. I know he's not like, he's not the guy. He's not Taysom Hill. He's not Jalen Hurts. He's not Lamar by any means.
He's smart. He can make adjustments at the line. Like I saw somebody tweeted out the other day and it was like it's the perfect thing with him. It's like Derek Carr alone doesn't make this team a Super Bowl contender. But he puts you it's like it's the most important position and he's good enough to get you for the rest of, like you're saying, it's only March. So between now and August, you got the biggest thing out the way. You make enough of the right moves between now and August. You never know. The NFC is weak, and it looks like Rodgers is going to go to the AFC. So, I mean, that the NFC South, if they don't win the NFC South, like that, it's a complete disappointment. There's no reason we shouldn't at least make the NFC South. Like that's my like you saying last year, we were like Super Bowl, like we got this. This year, I'm like, that's it, and I don't feel like that's an unrealistic expectation at all. Like,
I agree. Barring something crazy where one of these teams randomly get Lamar or something, you know what I mean? Like, which would be insane right now if you look at that.
or draft a rookie that ends up being, really good,
just ready from day. Like, yeah,
I'm with you. I definitely my expectations are not high. Concerned. I learned after 2018 or once Drew left, I told myself, I was like, I'm not like concerned is not going to be something that I am with the Saints anymore. Like it is what it is. That outcome is what it is. This year, even more so because it's a win-win situation for the Saints, right? So like there's 2 camps right now. You're either like you want to get rid of Dennis Allen or you want to keep Dennis Allen for whoever that is. But it's like he got his guy, he's got his coaches, he got his guys and he got his quarterback. He's got what he needs. So this is it. Like if this doesn't work for him, then we all get our wish and they're all gonna be gone. There's no more excuses. You suck. You get a top pick, you get your rookie quarterback, you start fresh. But I've seen you tweet about this a lot or the other day, Patty, about how there's not like a rebuilding is not necessarily is not something I ever really want to go through. Like teams will rebuild forever. Like a rebuild doesn't happen in 2 years. I mean, it can. You got to get if you get lucky, it can happen. But a rebuild can take 10 years. Who wants to deal with that? I'd much rather my team do this and sign somebody like Derek Carr, even if he's a middle of the pack quarterback, and show me they're at least trying to go for it. Like we got the second oldest roster or oldest roster in the NFL. Like I'd much rather do this, stay competitive, and see what happens than try to, Now as far as like you said, you're concerned about the future. I'd love to see him still draft like a young guy and set yourself up for the future, not make the mistake you made with Drew, where you're not prepared for life after that. So hopefully they do that. They gotta. I think the biggest thing with them this year is it really feels like they need to have one of those, not necessarily 2017 drafts, because that's unrealistic to hit on players at that rate. But they need a hit on three guys, maybe, you know what I mean, in like the next two drafts and set themselves up to have because that 17 draft set us up for 3-4 years, like that run. So it feels like they're in need of that to kind of reset the team a little bit.
What positions do you think they need to hit on? Like what's the top thing that comes to mind?
So I mean, I'm taking quarterback out of this because I'm gonna take quarterback out of it because I'm just gonna go with the assumption that Derek Carr is like serviceable, like you said, is better than serviceable, but it's the best word I got. So for me, even though it's not the most important position, I think they have to get a running back. Like you have to reset that position, and then the D line, like interior D line, or D line in general, is kind of in shambles to me. That's my biggest concern for the year. Cam is on his way out. The other two guys you drafted are like, or one could be gone. The other one might as well be because nobody even knows who he is. Anyamata is a free agent, so like you need a whole new defensive line. So that's my biggest thing is they need a defensive line. Um, just all the positions they're starting to age at. Linebacker, if they can't keep Caden Ellis, you're getting older there. Maybe I don't know. Running back is the one that I want the most. Running back and defensive line are probably my two, and then always offensive line depth.
I think for running back, for me, like yes, like I said it last season at the beginning of the season. That was the one thing I called out. I was like, hey, like we're weak at running back. We need running backs. And we never really addressed it. And then we had injuries, and you can kind of see it throughout the season. It just got worse. This offseason, I mean, definitely like you need a running back, but I don't know if you necessarily like well, there you go. I love it. God, man, Tajay Spears. Listen, if the Saints draft Tajay Spears, you're gonna see a different type of animal from me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying not to be that guy right now.
I just told Ethan when you went to get your drink, if they draft Tajay Spears, I might buy my first jersey in like 10 years.
Dude, I don't even want to get my hopes up. I don't even want to talk about it. I keep seeing everybody on Twitter and like all over the place basically saying, yeah, the Saints, it'd be really nice if the Saints draft Tajay Spears. Well, I see it every fucking year with people talking about LSU players. And to be quite frank, like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any of it. If it happens, awesome. But I don't want to come across as that homer that's like, oh yeah, Tajay Spears is the best thing since sliced bread, so let's get him. But yeah, I would definitely not turn that down.
That said, he is the best thing since sliced bread, so let's get him.
He's better.
I feel like if we give Ryan Griffin from Tulane a chance,
Yeah.
like
I was all
Tajay
aboard getting Ryan Griffin.
Griffin. I was like, yeah, he's the future. That's
Look,
it.
we talk a lot about Tajay Spears. I would love to draft Dorian Williams just as much.
Absolutely. And I feel bad like getting in these conversations because like I've always accused LSU fans or Bama fans or anybody of being homers when these guys come up. You know, they're like, oh, this guy's so good. But like, I mean, I truly believe it. And I think the reason I not this year, it doesn't have to happen, but the reason I've driven home some of these in the past so much is because like people don't watch Tulane, or they didn't. People didn't know, like they didn't know these guys.
Right.
This year, I don't think it needs to be said because everybody's talking about at least Tajay. People are starting to talk about Dorian Williams. Like these guys can play.
Yeah. So you were about to say something about running back. Let me ask you because I want to see where y'all are at with this. So I forget who it was that put up a mock draft today where it had us drafting, is it Bijan? I don't know how to say his name. The Texas running back
Yeah.
at 29. If they did that, how would y'all feel?
And,
He,
and
go
Ethan,
ahead.
answer that? Or you want me to
Go
go
ahead,
first?
Ethan.
No, I mean I wouldn't be mad at it, but the running back room feels very, very limited and aged right now. I mean, obviously Alvin Kamara's not old, but the rest of the guys, there doesn't feel like there's any true. We got Ingram, but there's no like true veteran, but there's also no true young star right now. I mean, Kamara again, obviously, but we don't know his status going into the season. Is he going to play 4 games and they're going to suspend him? So no, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. But I also think I think the one at 29 doesn't solve the running back room problem. I'd still like to see something in the free agency for the running back problem.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, no, I actually feel the same way. I would actually prefer to not get a running back at 29, to be completely honest. I would prefer to take another like D line, O line, as unsexy as that sounds. I
Yeah.
know we've done it for years,
But
but like,
it's only unsexy when it feels like it's not a need. You know what I mean? Like when we all are sitting there like we need receivers like desperately, and they're like, no, we're gonna draft another offensive lineman. Like when we need a defensive lineman, everybody's like, yeah, great. But
yeah, yeah. No,
for me,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like for me, he's the one. Like if it's him, I'm cool with it. As much as I love Tajay, if they were to reach and take Tajay at 29, I'm like, all right,
Oh,
let's
yeah, I'd be
it.
frustrated.
It all depends on like I don't know that much about the defensive linemen that are going to be in the draft or whatever, but it all boils down to who's available, right? Like if there's a guy that like if he's there, you'd rather take him than reach on a guy that is supposed to go like late second round just because he's a defensive lineman. You know what I mean? But I'm with you too, Ethan, about getting somebody in free agency. I'm almost looking at it as like you don't have a backfield right now because you don't know if you got Alvin. I don't know what's going on with Mark. Like I feel like if I had to put money on it, I don't think he's going to be on the roster come September. Just age and whatever. But I don't know. Maybe there's a cap thing with him where you might as well just keep him. I'm not sure. But to me, I'm almost looking at it as rebuild the backfield, draft somebody, and like a name we've been talking about is like Alexander Madison. Like if you pair Bijan or Tajay with Madison and you have a whole new backfield, and then you throw Alvin on top of that, it sets you up good for this year, and you can move off Alvin if it works and get younger at that position.
You
Well,
know,
Jeff Ireland, I think, has a history of going best player available.
mhm.
Yep.
So fortunately, he's not normally the one to risk it all on a third round pick in the first round just because he really likes what the scouting report says. He's typically a guy who he rolls the dice. I mean, sometimes he wins, right? Sometimes he loses, and you have years like the year we got Kamara, the year I mean, that was an insane. We couldn't even. There's no
Yeah.
way we could have kept everybody from that year, and that's the really bad thing about drafting well. And so, yeah, I think Jeff Ireland he would take him if he's there at 29, even if he really would prefer to
But
draft Spears because he fits our offense a little better.
but do you
But
think Dennis Allen's gonna let them draft a running back at 29 when he needs defensive linemen?
I
Yeah.
think I think Jeff
Who gets
Ireland
final say there?
has. I think Jeff Ireland does because I mean, even when Sean Payton was here, Sean Payton had a lot of control over this team. And for a while, I've had some theory that when Vincent passed away, Sean Payton started losing authority with the team, and maybe that's why he didn't want to be here long term. It's a theory. I don't have any sources to confirm that, but it's always been my belief that Gail wanted to be more involved, and she got involved with the Pelicans more. She got involved with the Saints more. Whereas Benson was just kind of like, hey, we're winning now. Do your thing, right? Like, I think Jeff Ireland has probably the third most power in the building behind Gale and Loomis, just because those years that he was gone, it showed. And then as soon as he came back, it showed again how good he is at his job. So I think Jeff Ireland has the final say. I don't think Dennis Allen. Um, we signed your quarterback. We're drafting now.
Right.
Hopefully, because he doesn't know offense. That's for sure.
A freaking bone. Sit down. Yeah. I don't know. I was looking through a list here. I was trying to figure out like outside of that, like who I would even want. And looking at edge rushers and things of that sort, the one closest to the 29th position is BJ Ojolari. And I'm just like instantly like, please don't do that. One name I've been hearing a lot, if I stay on my edge theme, is Lucas Van Ness. I think he's expected to go a little higher, but he should be there. So that's something that I'm watching for. I think he's got some great measurables. I don't have him in front of me, but I just remember hearing he was kind of a freak. But he's young and he didn't get a lot of playing time last year, so I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth on him, but I don't know though. I haven't done a lot of draft research, so I'm not sure where I'm at here.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just like I said, I would as far as running back goes, if it's him, if it's Bijan, I'm all for it. If not, like you say, go best player available. You could probably use help at almost every position on the roster, realistically. Maybe outside of like cornerback, like you don't really need too much help there. And honestly, this is one of those years where if they did take like the best offensive lineman available, I don't even think I'd be upset about it. Because like I tend to try to use logic when they do that. You never can have too many good offensive linemen. Like we've seen it. We can't keep anybody healthy on the offensive line anyway. So I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah. Cool. We could put a bow on that.
Moving on.
What else we got? Dave, you said you had something, or did we run through it?
Yeah, what the fuck is Ja Morant doing?
It's a good question.
Sorry for the language, but
It's a good
like,
question.
what is he doing?
So without getting too political, the defense of Ja Morant with a gun blows me away because people are like, it's not illegal to have a firearm. No, you're absolutely right. It's not illegal to have a firearm, but there's a lot of things
It's
he
just
did illegal
optics.
to be in a strip club with a firearm, like
Right.
brandishing a weapon in a public space with alcohol, brandishing a weapon in a public space that very likely has a no firearms policy, um, crossing state lines without a blot. Like you don't even know if he can have the magazine in that gun in the state that he was in, based on state to state, because states have ultimate power. Yeah, it blew me away. The defensive,
I'm
the
like, so I don't know
he had
about
a
y'all.
gun conversation.
I don't know about y'all. I'm really starting to hate Memphis. Number one, but at the same time, like as annoying as Ja Morant can be, like I want him to be great.
Oh yeah.
Like he's one of those players. Like, dude, you're being. I'm just looking at it as like the NBA is very clearly trying to push him to be like one of the faces of the league. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's an optics thing. Like laws, whatever. You know,
Right.
whether it's illegal or not illegal. I don't know, but like, dude, you have got to be smarter than that.
Listen, if I can make an analogy for a second, right? Yes, it may not be illegal for him to have a firearm. Like, I'm not going to argue that at all. And that's still a weak ass response because first thought I had is it's also not illegal for me to get fucking obliterated on a Friday night and shoot off 30 text messages to random girls in my phone. But I'm married and it's a terrible idea. But like, let's be smarter. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
make good choices here. And Ja is
yeah,
not making good choices.
yeah. Like we don't have to stick around on this. We're not a Grizzlies pod, but it's like, dude, come on, man. Like he's it's just weird. Like we know that's not who you are. Like we've seen it.
Sure.
We well, I don't know, man. Do
I
you think
don't
that's who
know.
Ja is? Like
I don't know.
everything we've heard about Ja is that's not who Ja is.
Right, but like, I mean, yes, you're not wrong, but like, I don't know. I don't know the guy. I
Yeah,
don't, like, you
yeah.
can say, oh, he went to a private school and this, and that. I've known plenty of private school kids growing up that were not great individuals, you know? Like, shit happens. People get
Eight
put in
Mile.
great
Eight
situations.
Mile just keeps coming to my mind every time I see something with Ja doing this.
His
His
name's
real name is Clarence. Okay.
Jesus.
Uh, yeah, man. I don't know. And honestly, the first thing that came to mind when I started seeing the stuff with John, like, say what you will about Zion not being on the court, he ain't doing dumb shit like this.
No, he's just
Like,
posting song lyrics. They'll just be cryptic.
yeah.
Come
I
on.
swear he took a page out of Michael Thomas's book with that
Yeah,
post. I was like,
I
oh, come
was
on, not you, man.
when Patty tweeted that the other day, I was gonna be like, he's like the NBA version of Michael Thomas. He just does it differently. He just does it through
Yeah.
song.
And then Ingram followed suit, posted. I'm like, man, they are killing me. Like, but yeah, the
Ingram,
John Morant thing. I texted a buddy of mine too the other day. I was like, man, I really hope somebody like Big Brother's is job because he's so fun to watch. Like
right?
his game and the way he like floats through the air, like it's insane to watch him play. Like it doesn't look like he should be that athletic. It doesn't look like he should be that fast. It doesn't look like he should jump that high. He's insane. And if his career is derailed purely because of immaturity, I'm not even gonna say it's stupidity. It's just immaturity. I think it would be really, really disappointing. So I really hope somebody in the league, I don't care who it is, just sits him down and be like, look, like I
Didn't
understand
Allen
who you
didn't
are.
Allen Iverson kind of go through the same stuff?
Allen
Yeah.
Iverson had a lot of issues with authority, but not so much of like
He
he just
wasn't.
wanted to be an
Not
individual
like
and the
going around
league
like
didn't want
waving
to.
guns. Like that's
Yeah.
not what I mean. But
Yeah.
like,
Well, no, I feel like Allen Iverson, I mean, I think he did kind of like grow up with that like disrespect for authority kind of thing. Um, and when he got to the league, they wanted him to wear suits. They wanted him to follow these media
yeah,
guidelines, and
yeah.
kind of similar to Marshawn Lynch, where it's just like, I'm not playing your game, you know. But I think it would take some maybe Marshawn Lynch to do it because I feel like anybody could be like real with him, but also like you know at least somewhat have relatability to him to where like we don't like with so we have to play some of their game but not all of it kind of thing.
Yeah,
Right.
like I said, we don't have to hang around on that. I just it felt like we had to touch on that a little bit because
I
I
like the
mean
way you introduce it too.
I think that's just I mean
All
that's
you can say about it
that
right
was my
now.
reaction when I saw
Yeah,
it come across the timeline was literally what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I
right.
was
Like
I was at a crawfish boil and I looked at my phone. I think I looked at Twitter and I looked up, it's like my group of closest friends. And I was like, I said the same thing. I said, what the fuck is going on with Ja Morant? What is this kid doing?
yeah. And
Very
then
for
like the next day Powerade was supposed to announce him as like their new spokesperson and all of this other stuff. He's got and then he's like his signature shoe is about to drop. Like, dude, you are literally about to be on a rocket ship
right.
to the face of the league.
It's crazy that Nike drops Kyrie and picks up Ja. And then and Ja goes and he's like, you know what? Fuck it all. Let's
Yeah.
just fuck it all up. Yeah. Anyways, sliding on from that. Um, how do we feel about KD right now? Like,
Dude,
what the
what?
what
Right, what the fuck?
what a freak accident of an injury in your first home game with your new team, like in warmups. We've all listen. I've had this situation before, walking around the house or stepping off a curb, you misstep or whatever, you almost roll your ankle. But like, good lord, what the was the floor wet? What happened? Nobody. All right, we can move on.
Yeah, it
No,
just
I'm no, I'm so in my I'm
I have no
thinking like
words.
dude, imagine so it happened during warmups. And if you look like the stadium or the arena's kind of empty still. Like imagine being outside of the line, like waiting to get in, like about the CKD, and you get in there and you don't even see like you don't check your phone or nothing. And you the starting lineup comes out and you're like,
Where's KD?
fuck is Bismack Biyombo doing out here? I don't even know who started in his place. But
And they still won by 30 or something
yeah,
like that. Like
that team
some
is ridiculous.
gee,
I hate that so much.
oh my
Uh,
God.
hey, what
Someone
speaking of the Suns, because that makes me think of like them beefing with the Mavs, and then tonight you had like the Warriors and Grizzlies going back and forth. So like what is what are your couple dream like matchups for the playoffs this year in the NBA? Because for me, like I need 7 games of Luca
Yes,
and Devin Booker going
that's
back and forth,
that's it.
and Draymond and Dylan Brooks.
I'm not worried about Draymond and Dylan Brooks. They both think they're better than they are. Like Draymond is good. Don't get me wrong in his own way, but like his ego has gotten out of control. Uh,
I need 7 games of Luca and Devin Booker again.
yeah, 100%. That's it. I think that's the only answer, to be honest. Earlier in the year, I would have said Pelican Suns again, just because it seemed like it was gonna be a lot of fun. But like,
I would take Pels Grizz.
I would take Pels anyone at this point.
Well, yeah, but I think Pels Grizz would be fun. I don't. I think there's some hatred there between the two of them.
I think it's just the Grizzlies, man. The Grizzlies are a young team full of dudes that just rub people the wrong way. Like,
That talk a lot of shit for people who haven't done anything.
yeah. And then you got Dylan Brooks basically playing football. Like,
Yeah.
he's swinging on people when the ball's on the ground. And like, he's just,
Well, somebody's got to take the mantle from Chris Paul when he retires as the dirty player in the league, you know? Fun fact about the Grizzlies, I found out that my cousin, one of her best friend is Desmond Bane's wife.
interesting.
Didn't know that. So, big Desmond Bane fan over here. If he wants to hook me up with some seats, I promise to show up in a Grizzlies jersey when they play the Pels. Whatever's underneath there, mid game, I can't. I can't promise.
I wasn't even going to respond. I was just going to let that simmer. I will not wear a Grizzlies jersey. I don't care. Oh man,
we know you're the king of courtside. You don't want some Grizzlies tickets? Courtside
listen,
Grizz tickets?
I take advantage of courtside seats when the Pels are not playing well. Like a random Wednesday night, the Pels have been on like a 10-game skid. I'm like, oh, $230 to sit courtside? Let's
When
go.
everybody else is like, I don't want to make this trip to New Orleans and worry about my car being broken in. Patty's like, my time to pounce.
Time is here.
uh,
How long
what else we got?
We're probably pretty good on time if we want to roll into a top five. You want to finish with a top five?
Oh, we got a top 5? You got
Or do
one?
we need, or do we want to keep talking? We could talk all night. Our pods could go for, we make feature films, Ethan, in case you forgot.
I did not forget. Yeah. The good thing about this is since I'm here, like I don't care how long it is because I don't have to watch it.
You have to
I am
listen.
gonna watch it for. I am gonna watch it for the view, but I don't really have to watch it this time. I was here. I know what happened.
Right. Patty doesn't watch them either, so that's okay.
I really don't. I don't.
I hope you at least go and click the like button at a minimum.
I am so terrible with all podcasts. So like last week, I was pretty damn proud of myself because I went and watched like 2 or 3 Pels and Whistles podcasts before having Rel on because I want to be able to like have relevant conversations about like what they've talked about and stuff like that. And I just felt so proud of myself that I was able to reference things because I don't listen to podcasts. So anyone that listens to me, thank you. That's all I have to say.
We can do a top 5. You got something? You sound like you had something.
I do. It's something fun and difficult. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this, but I'll throw it out.
I like the fact that you looked around before you said that.
Well, it's something we talked about already. I wanted to read the list real quick. I didn't make a list, but I wrote down like words of what I wanted to the top 5.
Down words.
Sounds like a list, but okay.
Yeah.
I have 4
I don't know if
things.
you know what a list is, Patty, but
it's not a list. These are just the topics for the podcast. Rank your
list of topics. Got it.
All right.
What'd you say, sir?
I want to make sure to give a cut. That way, when we cut this later for TikTok, right, that it starts clean.
Cut.
Cool. Rank your top 5 NFC quarterbacks as of right now.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Go ahead, Ethan. Right. Go ahead.
So
wait. So
are we going? Well, hang on. Are we going skill?
What the hell is Skittle?
Skill. He
like
said.
Just, what did you think I said?
I thought you said Skittle. I was like, what the hell is Skittle?
Well, if it's Skittle, my favorite quarterback's obviously Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Are we going talent?
Well, I want to know if we're going like Ethan
potential.
We're
You
going
just
potential.
No, I'm
rank him,
asking.
just like rank him as just a quarterback.
Yeah,
Like,
just rank whatever you want, and we'll go Ethan, Dave, myself, because
all
I'm
right,
gonna go last. So
damn,
start with 5, and then we'll
who's
go.
even in the NFC?
Yeah, good luck.
Okay,
'Cause I don't even know.
so should we do another cut and re-ask the question, or are we just rolling with this how it is now?
I'll just roll with it. We'll edit it after. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, no. So I think for me right now, I have to go. I'm gonna say Derek Carr is number one just because I can.
One at
Number
a time, Ethan.
two.
Fucking up the rotation.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Okay,
Come on,
Start
dude.
at 5. What are you doing?
so we gotta cut this all out. Okay,
Oh,
my
it's fine.
fifth. I don't even think I know five. And okay, so fifth. No, I do know five. Fifth is going to be Justin Fields.
Ooh, so you're
That's
going potential. You're 100% going potential. That's fair.
my
It's all I got.
my number 5. I'll say Derek Carr number 5.
Okay. I
Derek
think that I feel that's disrespectful, but I'm gonna let that simmer. Number 5 for me. I pulled up a list. I'm cheating. Um,
So did I.
I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins, number 5.
Hmm. All right, Ethan, give me your number 4.
My four is also Kirk Cousins, but not also in four. It just he's number four.
My number 4. Uh, do we leave Kyle? Is Kyler gonna play?
Yeah, I mean, I would consider
Call of Duty or
he's 100% gonna play Call of Duty.
he's probably playing right now. So he should listen to the pod while he plays personally.
I'll.
I just
I'm gonna say Kyler number 4.
I like that. I like that. I don't want to steal that though, because I want to have a different list.
I feel like you're taking a subtweet at me right now.
I'm still no. Uh, I think I am gonna go Kyler number 4 as well.
All right, number 3, Ethan.
And now I'm gonna throw Derek Carr in there.
Fair.
I thought he was your number 1. What the fuck is going on?
He's number one in my heart. Okay.
All right.
My number 3. I'll put Kirk Cousins number 3. I'm
Solid.
gonna hate that. I'm gonna hate my list
Yeah, I don't
when
like
I,
my list
when I,
already.
when I go back and listen to this.
I kind of like the potential approach now because in my head I'm like Justin Fields, like fucking, I don't know. 3 for me. Oh God, what do I do here? 3 for me is Dak Prescott.
Okay, I like it. So we're on two now, right? So number two for me, um, Davis Mills. No, I'm kidding. Dak Prescott.
Mills.
I I hate that I did this because you said as it stands right now, and I feel like I should have had Rodgers on this list.
Oh
But in
yeah,
order in
yeah.
order for me to put Rodgers, I'm gonna have to leave Dak out, and I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna say Dak number 2.
I you can do
People
we'll
will
do
hate
five.
people will hate that, but I think I like Dak. I've always been a fan of Dak.
I like Dak.
Plus he's from Louisiana. I mean, I wanted him before he went to the Cowboys, and I hated that he went there.
You remember when Dak got his ass beat at spring break before he came into the league? I was there. Like I was literally I was in Panama City or Pensacola, wherever it was. I watched him get his ass beat.
You instigated it, didn't you?
This feels
Oh,
like an admission of guilt. We'll have to cut this out the pod.
right. I'm gonna send this shit to him. A direct line. Oh
Hmm.
man, number 2. That's what I'm on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did not consider Aaron Rodgers in this at all. In my head, he's not the NFC anymore. But he could be, and this whole list is fucked. But
Yeah.
I'm taking the approach that he's not, and Jordan Love is the quarterback of the Packers. With that being said, number 2, I'm going Jordan. No, I'm not. Um, Do I want to be crazy?
I just love that one specific quarterback has been left off of every list so far.
I don't know who's my number one, and I feel
Oh,
like
Matt
Patty's gonna
Stafford.
say it, and then I'm just gonna like repeat his picks
No,
right before
so
my
here's the thing.
picks.
Everybody's gonna have the same number one. So my number
No, we
two.
don't. No, we won't because he had him at 5.
Oh, what?
He said
Your
Jalen
number one
Hurts
is
was 5.
Justin. No, Justin
Justin
Fields.
Fields.
Yeah, that's my number
My
five. I did
number
say Justin
two.
Fields, right?
You said Jalen Hurts is number 5.
We said Justin Fields.
Oh, my
Said
bad.
Justin
Sorry.
Fields.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Jesus, follow along. I'm the
Go
one.
your give me your number 2, Patty. It's not that hard of a
Yeah,
list.
sorry about that.
It is that hard of a list, but I was gonna be an asshole and say Jalen Hurts at 2, but it doesn't. It's not real. So I'm gonna say number 2, Derek Carr.
And now we know my number one is Justin. No, I'm kidding. Definitely 100% undeniably the man who squats 6,000 pounds, Jalen Hurts.
My number one's Matt Stafford.
Yeah,
Just kidding. Jalen Hurts.
Super Bowl winner. Like, but he's a Super Bowl MVP. Like, he might as well be your number one.
He's Colin Cowherd's number 1.
I tell you what, he's won more Super Bowls and more Super Bowl MVPs than Jalen Hurts. I'm just gonna throw that out there. We need to have a segment on this. We talked about this once before, where I just irrationally defend certain quarterbacks and make an argument.
I did.
We
I
should do
did
that
want
after
this.
this. I got one for you. We should do that after this.
I did want this to be a game that we do where Patty just irrationally defends the most ridiculous things.
I was
But if
ready.
this would have been 6 months ago, he would have legitimately been irrationally defending Matt Stafford.
I would have. The other day we were going. Well, my number one. First of all, let's close this out. My number one, obviously, is Daniel Jones. No, it's Jalen Hurts. My number one is Jalen Hurts. No,
Choice.
Jared Goff, honorable mention.
yeah, I mean,
Can Geno Smith do it again?
yeah. So that's the thing with this list. That's what I said earlier, right? Like you could literally like take every NFC quarterback and throw them in a hat and just be like, here's the top 5 guys this year.
And it wouldn't even surprise you if Matt Stafford had a bounce back year.
No, it wouldn't. You could tell me Matt Stafford next year is the best, like after the year, is the best quarterback in the NFC. Or you could tell me now that he will be, and I'll be like, I mean, maybe.
What NFC team has the highest? Is it the Cardinals? They have the highest draft pick. Who's got number 1?
Hmm. I know that
Bears.
the
The Bears.
Bears. Yeah, I know that. Are the Bears number 1?
Yeah, because they're talking. Remember, there's the whole Bryce Young versus Justin Fields thing. I'm just wondering if what NFC team might possibly get a rookie.
So you got Chicago, you got Houston, you got Arizona, Indianapolis, and then Seattle is the top 5.
Yeah, I don't think you see Arizona or Seattle obviously take a quarterback. I don't think.
I honestly think Seattle takes one.
They were talking about it.
Seattle.
I could. Would you be shocked if Arizona took one?
I think
Stroud,
Seattle would take one before Arizona, personally.
Yeah.
With everything going on with Kyler lately, and if he's not ready, if he can't play,
it would be surprising to me, but I think I would be like,
like you would get it. It would definitely be surprising, but you'd be
then
like,
trade Tyler, because like you're not going to keep if you draft a quarterback that high, you're not going to keep a guy you just drafted that high a couple of years ago. Like it's just
Kyler gets replaced the same way he replaced Josh Rosen.
Well, Josh Rosen,
the circle of life, Kyler. The circle of life.
Josh Rosen was complete ass. Like that was a swing and a miss, big time. Yeah. NFC South has to have the worst quarterbacks though. Like Derek Carr is
Matt Corral season, baby.
Hey, is Kyle Trask going to start? Is he really going to start for the Bucs? There's no way. There's no way.
I feel like too.
I read the other day they might try to go with Drew Lock or Baker. Please do.
I will defend either one right now. Pick one. It's the same.
As it stands, I feel like the Saints might have 3 quarterbacks better.
Dude, I was
than
only
other quarterback in the NFC
I was only
South
half
right
kidding.
now.
I was only half kidding the other day when I said Taysom might be the second best.
He might. And you were only half kidding because Andy Dalton might be a little bit better at quarterback than Taysom Hill, and that's the only reason.
Dalton's a free agent right now, though.
I still think Jameis would be
Oh,
the
that's
third
true.
best quarterback in the NFC South.
Yeah, the Bucks should
Maybe the
trade for him.
second. You could convince me he's the second best in the NFC South.
I'd trade him to the
Is
Buccaneers.
Mariota a free agent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The starters right now, the way I see them penciled in are Derek Carr, PJ Walker, Kyle Trask, and Desmond Ritter.
Gross.
It's not a good list.
How long have we been
All right,
doing this?
you're ready, Patty? This is how we're gonna close it out. Patty, I want you. I'm the GM of the Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers just since it's a trade package for Lamar Jackson's rights, or I don't know how the NFL works. I'm a GM, but I don't know anything. Um, and they're offering us Kenny Pickett, and convince me that Kenny Pickett's a better option than Lamar Jackson with all your irrationality that you have.
Well, first of all, did you see Kenny Pickett play last year? Like the
Yeah,
kid,
I don't watch football.
the kid is a gamer. First of all, he's a run and gun guy, right? Like he he's not going to make the best throws. I'll give him that. But I mean, he's basically Josh Allen before Josh Allen took off, right? Like he plays really hard. He's a lot of fun to watch. Like
With small hands. With
I
small
think
hands, like the Burger King commercial.
no, fuck that. You know who else had small hands? Dante Culpepper. He killed. He was phenomenal for years. You can miss me with the small hands thing, okay? Have you seen anybody else ever fake a slide and then run for a touchdown? Like the guy's got something upstairs too. He's one of the smarter quarterbacks.
Michael Vick and Kenny Pickett. That's the list.
Exactly. Great company. You're making the argument for me. Listen, I'd watch the guy play football. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
I'd watch them too, but that's only because sometimes they only put those games on my TV.
Sometimes it confuses me with height. I was unaware that Kenny Pickett was 6'3". He doesn't. How does he look shorter but look taller at the same time? Does that make any sense?
So,
Now that I know he's 6'3", I feel like he looks tall, but maybe that's just I don't know.
can we
I didn't
can
know
we
he was
dive in?
6'3".
Can we dive into some facts about Kenny Pickett real quick?
Go
Yes,
for it.
absolutely.
He's
His
the
father's
all-time-
name is Ken,
He's the
not
all-time
Kenny.
leading passer at Pittsburgh, at the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
He's a Heisman Trophy finalist. Like, come on, dude. Like, he didn't completely suck last year. His coach held him back. Let's be real. He didn't want to put him in. He put him in, took him out. Put him in, took him out. Tua had the same shit happen to him. When Tua was actually given the reins, what happened? He was an MVP candidate. I'm just saying, you can't throw the guy away already. He's got potential. That's it. I'll close with that.
His father was a linebacker. Just throw
Yeah.
that out there as well.
He's also like 29.
His father or him? It's a joke. He's 24.
Him. I
Yeah,
feel like
he's 24.
I feel like he's been playing at Pitt since I was a freshman in high school.
His
Yeah. Who's the Georgia quarterback, 26 years old in the
Yeah.
NFL, rookie year? I don't even want to say his name, mainly because I don't watch college football, so I don't know it. But that's not the point we're trying to make here.
that's
almost said
invented.
I almost said Jake Fromm. He was the last Georgia quarterback to be there for 10 years.
They have a trend with that, huh? That's why Georgia fans are so loyal because they got to deal with the same quarterback for a decade.
That's funny. Well, that's all I got. You can
Well,
give
it
me
was a
more names.
pleasure.
If you gave me 3 seconds to prepare, I probably would have been way better at defending him. But like, I will come up with some shit.
No, yeah, we're trading Lamar Jackson, even though I don't think we have the ability to. I'm not a very good GM, so you convinced me.
Here's a great fact.
I need you to convince me to sign Pete Carmichael to a 5-year extension.
Dude. He had one of
No,
the
hey,
prolific
hang on.
in NFL.
This is irrational. I could defend him irrationally. Sometimes I feel like you saw it with Sean Payton, and I feel like you saw glimpses of it this year without Sean Payton. I don't think Pete Carmichael is a very type A personality, so to speak, and I think he allows like other people to kind of like tell him how it's going to go. Because sometimes like Sean Payton would come out with these scripted plays that looked phenomenal, and then after that they would just like completely go away from it. And it feels like we do the same thing under Dennis Allen. So a part of me feels like Pete Carmichael is like the scapegoat for a lot of it as the offensive coordinator, but sometimes I feel like he's
God, I wish
not
he would have
calling
been
the
the scapegoat.
plays. Instead, it was a tight end coach.
So
No, I like.
you got Pete Carmichael going up to Dennis Allen on 3rd and 1, be like, All right, we're going for it. Then it sounds like sit the fuck down.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, Dennis Allen's like, who are you again?
My dogs are barking. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, you're fine. One last fun fact about Kenny Pickett before we close this thing out.
Kenny.
You remember how I said Kenny Pickett was the all-time leading passer in University of Pittsburgh history? You know who else, you know who else played at Pittsburgh or at Pitt? Dan fucking Marino. Take that to the bank. He's better than
Yeah.
Dan.
Kenny Pickett,
In
better than Dan
college.
Marino. Clip that.
Put that on the old TikTok.
Give me that one time. Give me or Kenny Pickett better than Dan Marino one time so I can clip it perfectly.
Kenny Pickett is better than Dan Marino. Write it down. Take a picture.
Got it.
No,
that's good. That's
listen,
rich.
if you actually think that I believe Kenny Pickett is better than Dan Marino, you're out of your goddamn mind. I'll argue.
Let's wrap this shit up. I got a kid to go feed.
This concludes our first take segment, where you just make shit up and run with it. No, until next time, that's it. Actually, that's all we got. But we do want to shout out a few things. We always call out where to follow us, so we'll do that. You can follow me at the Patty V. You can follow Dave. Dave, shout yourself
at the Dave Rainey.
Ethan.
Just follow Be in the Know on Twitter. I don't really use my own Twitter, so go to that one.
Oh yeah,
he does to boost our numbers up a little bit.
That's the only reason I do it. Yeah. And while we're here, shout out to Jacob's Audible. No Twitter, but jacobsaudible.org. And our other partner, Noah Flight, the premier esports team in New Orleans. I know a lot of folks in New Orleans says if it has New Orleans across the front of it, we're gonna rock with it. So let's rock with Noah Flight.
Absolutely, 100%. I actually just got a jersey in from them, so I will be wearing that next episode.
Amazing.
And think about
maybe we'll get Brandon on here and ask some questions.
Close on this. No explanation, just yes or no, and we'll wrap it up. Patty, the Pels make the playoffs.
I already said yes.
Ethan?
Yes.
I say no. All right. We out.